Once a woman gets married, she's no longer part of the family. That's what my sister Amy told me with a sneer during her coming-of-age ceremony. My mother, cold as ever, told me to hurry up and leave. I came back to celebrate with them, but their actions made it clear that I was nothing more than a stranger. It hurt, but I decided to stay strong. If that's how they feel, I'll make them regret their words. I'm Sherry, 22 years old, and I've been living on my own for 4 years. After graduating from vocational high school, I worked hard to support myself. My life isn't fancy, but I've chosen this path, and I'm proud of it. Still, the pain of the past lingers, especially my mother and Amy's actions. The hurt started long ago. My father left my mother for another woman just before my first birthday. My mother never forgave him and took her anger out on me because I resembled him. "You're just like him. Seeing your face makes me sick," she'd say. As a child, I didn't understand, but I felt her coldness. To her, I was just a reminder of her pain. At first, my grandparents cared for me, but as my mother kept asking them for money, they grew distant. Before I turned 2, my mother remarried and had Amy. My mother, stepfather, and Amy became a family, but I was never part of it. One day, I saw them packing suitcases. "Where are you going?" I asked. "On vacation," they said. "Can I come too?" I asked hopefully. "Of course not. We'll drop you at daycare." Their laughter still echoes in my mind. Every time they went on trips, I was left at a 24-hour daycare center, feeling lonely and unwanted. At home, the rejection got worse. I was ignored, isolated, and treated as an outsider. Once, Amy asked my mother, "Why doesn't Sherry have a birthday party?" For a moment, I thought my mother might care, but she replied, "There's nothing to celebrate." From that day, Amy started looking down on me too. Family celebrations were all about Amy. She got birthday cakes. I got nothing. I worked hard through high school, but had to pay for vocational school myself because my family refused to help. Being at work felt better than being at home. At 18, I couldn't take it anymore and left. My mother, stepfather, and Amy didn't care. In fact, they seemed relieved. "Do whatever you want. You're not our problem anymore," they said. Those words cut deep, but they also freed me. Living on my own was tough, but for the first time, I felt free. I lived for myself and found joy in that. Yet, even now, at 22, memories of my family still haunt me, especially with Amy's coming-of-age ceremony. I never had one, but I'm sure hers will be grand. One day, I got a call from my mother. Hearing her voice after so many years made me tense. "Amy's 21st birthday is next week. You're not coming, right?" she said. I was shocked. Why would she call me? I wasn't invited. I replied quietly. "Good. It'd be awkward if you showed up," she said, her words hitting me like a punch. I whispered to myself, of course I wouldn't go, but the pain in my chest wouldn't go away. I thought I'd cut all ties with them, so why did they still affect me? I had chosen to leave my family behind and live my own life, but their shadow still lingered in my mind. I resolved not to let them control me anymore. Still, as an adult, a part of me wanted to face them, especially Amy. She was about to turn 21, a big milestone. Despite everything, I wanted to celebrate her. So, I bought a cake and a present and decided to visit my family for the first time in years. Standing in front of the door, my heart raced. It had been so long, and I was nervous. When I rang the doorbell, Amy answered. "Who's there?" she asked, her tone mocking. "Amy, it's me. Stop joking. I brought a cake. Open the door." There was silence for a moment before the door opened. Without a word, Amy grabbed the cake box from my hands and threw it back at me. Shocked, I stood there frozen as the cake splattered on the ground. "What are you doing?" I asked, my voice shaking. "I can't eat food from a stranger," she said coldly. That word, stranger, echoed in my mind. I already knew I was an outsider, but hearing it from Amy hurt more than I expected. Deep down, I had hoped she still thought of me as her sister. As I stared at the ruined cake, my mother appeared, laughing alongside Amy. "What were you thinking, coming here? Did you just want to ruin things?" she said, her voice icy. Her words cut deep, filling me with regret for even trying. I should never have come. Why is she even here? "She's not family anymore," my stepfather said, his voice sharp and cold. "Celebrations are for family only. Strangers like you don't belong here," he added. His words hit me like ice. "Family only?" I whispered, my voice trembling. "Am I not family?" "Of course you're not family. We're not even related," Amy said with a laugh. "Did you really think you were one of us?" Their words crushed me. I had always been an outsider. There was nothing left for me here. Clean up that mess before you leave, my mother barked. I obeyed numbly, picking up the ruined cake. As I worked, Amy and my mother laughed behind me. She brought the cake, and now she's cleaning it up herself. How pathetic, they sneered. Their mockery stung, but I focused on finishing as quickly as possible. When I was done, I headed for the door silently. Leaving already? Should have never come, huh? Amy taunted. I didn't respond. As I opened the door, she called out, "Don't come back, stranger." Her words echoed in my mind as the door slammed shut behind me. It felt like the final nail in the coffin of my relationship with them. I realized I had been clinging to a false hope that things might change, but I was wrong. I was nothing but a stranger to them, and maybe I always was. Still, I didn't need to waste any more time trying to find my place in their lives. I already had a place where I belonged. My husband, Don, was waiting for me at home. Meeting Don had changed my life. At first, I never thought I would get married. I didn't think I deserved a family of my own, but Don accepted me as I was. He understood my complicated past without judgment. When I shared my painful memories with him, he simply listened and said, "You didn't get to choose your family, but none of that is your fault. The family we create together will be your true home." His words warmed my heart. For the first time, I felt like I truly belonged. Life with Don brought me happiness I never thought possible. We were building a family together, one filled with love and acceptance. I had never told my family about Don. I didn't want their negativity to touch my new life, but somehow, word of my marriage reached them. 3 days after the incident with the cake, my mother called me. "I heard you got married. Why didn't you tell us something so important?" Her question caught me off guard, but I stayed calm. "I didn't think it was necessary to tell you," I replied. There was a long silence on the other end of the line. Finally, she said, "Fine, do whatever you want. You'll end up alone anyway." Her words didn't hurt me this time. I had expected them. Instead, I felt reassured. I wasn't alone. I had Don and the family we were building together. "Family that won't last," she added bitterly. I brushed off her words. I was happy now. No matter what my mother said, it wouldn't change anything. That phone call felt like the final break between us. But just 3 days later, something unexpected happened. The doorbell rang. When I opened it, Amy was standing there. I had no idea how she found my address, but I invited her in anyway. "What are you doing here?" I asked. "I just wanted to see what kind of guy you married," she said with a playful tone, but I felt uneasy. Amy never visited without a reason. The moment she saw Don, her eyes lit up. "This is your husband? Not bad at all. How did someone like you snag him?" she said mockingly. I stayed silent, trying to hold back my anger. Don, however, remained calm. "I'm Sherry's husband. Please stop with the unnecessary remarks," he said firmly. Amy looked surprised, but quickly smirked and stepped closer to him. "Don't be so stiff. Let's have some fun. Sherry won't mind, will she?" I couldn't believe her audacity, but Don didn't waver. "I'm not interested. My happiness is with my wife. Please stop this behavior," he said, his loyalty unwavering. Amy shrugged, her playful smile fading into a cold smirk. "Whatever, I don't care about your happiness anyway." After she left, Don said, "You don't need people like her in your life, Sherry. For your sake and ours, it's best to cut ties." His words mirrored what I had already been thinking. Amy and the rest of my family had no place in our lives anymore. That day, I made an important decision. For years, I had been sending money to my family, paying for Amy's tuition and even helping with their mortgage. I had done it all despite their cruelty, hoping they'd accept me one day. But after Amy's visit, I realized I owed them nothing. When I told Don I was stopping the financial support, he smiled and said, "That's the right choice. Sherry, you've done more than enough. Now it's time to focus on yourself." His words lifted a weight off my shoulders. I filed the necessary paperwork and stopped the payments. For the first time, I felt free. A month later, my peaceful life was interrupted. There was loud banging on the door. I opened it to find my mother and Amy standing there, furious. "Why didn't the tuition payment go through? The landlord is threatening eviction," they shouted. I had been expecting this. Calmly, I replied, "I stopped the payments because I'm no longer responsible for you. I even sold the house to recover the money I already spent." "What do you mean you sold the house?" they demanded, shocked. "You made it clear I'm not part of your family, so I have no obligation to support you." "But what about my tuition? I can't finish school without it." Amy cried. That's your responsibility now, not mine. I won't fund a family that doesn't include me. You can't do this, after everything we've done for you. Done for me? You mean years of neglect and cruelty? I owe you nothing, my decision is final. They tried to argue, but I stood firm. Their anger turned to desperation when they realized I wouldn't budge. You'll regret this, you're the worst sister ever, Amy yelled as they left. But their words didn't hurt me anymore. I had let go of the hope that they would change. A week later, their harassment escalated. They showed up daily, shouting outside my home and even contacting Dawn's parents. My in-laws were understanding but concerned. They've crossed the line. You need to take action, they advised. Dawn suggested we involve the police. At first, I hesitated, but I knew it was the right thing to do. I gathered evidence from our security cameras and filed a report. The police were slow to act, treating it as a family matter, but I didn't give up. Finally, after another disruptive incident, they intervened. My mother and Amy were warned to stay away, but they didn't listen. Their behavior escalated until the police issued formal restraining orders. My neighbors, tired of the constant noise, supported my case. Some even suggested I move. Don agreed. Let's start fresh somewhere new, he said. I couldn't have agreed more. We found a new home and moved quietly, leaving the past behind. Even after we moved, my mother and Amy didn't give up trying to find us. They even showed up at Dawn's parents' house. My father-in-law firmly told them, Sherry is part of our family now. If you have issues, they're your responsibility, not hers. My mother stormed off angrily, but Amy tried begging my mother-in-law for help. You made your bed, now lie in it, my mother-in-law responded, shutting the door on her. With their efforts failing, they eventually stopped trying. I finally felt free. Once the harassment ended, my life became peaceful again. Dawn and I settled into our new home, focusing on building a future together. My in-laws treated me like their own daughter, something I had never experienced before. Sherry, your family, whatever happens, will always be here for you, they told me. Those words gave me a sense of security I had never known. Meanwhile, my mother and stepfather's relationship fell apart without my financial support. They eventually divorced, and my mother lived a quiet, lonely life. Amy, too, faced the consequences of her behavior. A potential marriage ended when her fiancé learned about her family's background and her past actions. Alone, Amy struggled to rebuild her life. Despite everything, I couldn't bring myself to feel sorry for them. Their actions had led them to this point. My life with Dawn, on the other hand, flourished. We faced challenges and celebrated successes together, always supporting one another. We've been through so much, but look at where we are now, Dawn would often remind me. His words made me realize how far I'd come. One evening, as we sat together in our cozy living room, Dawn took my hand and said, let's focus on our future. I want to make you as happy as you make me. His sincerity brought tears to my eyes. For the first time, I felt like I truly belonged, with someone who genuinely cared for me. The shadows of my past no longer haunted me. Dawn's family became the family I had always longed for. Their warmth and acceptance healed wounds I once thought would never heal. Family isn't just about blood, it's about the bonds you choose to nurture, Dawn's father had once told me. Those words stayed with me, reminding me of what truly mattered. Looking back, I saw my struggles with my mother and Amy as painful but necessary. They taught me resilience and the value of real family. As Dawn and I moved forward, I knew I had finally found my home, a place where I was loved, valued, and free to live my life fully.